Hello, everyone. Welcome to Donna's Happy Hour. I want to thank you for joining me again. Today, I have the great fortune of introducing for the second time on my show, Brian St. John. Brian has been keeping very busy in the studio, getting ready to launch another album. And he's also been keeping very busy in the studio with Whiskey Crossing, which is a band that I know you've seen on my show. Besides doing all of that, his solo career and Whiskey Crossing, he works full time. So grab your drinks, whatever they may be, because I know you're going to want to spend the next hour with me.
I thought I'd add to the lexicon of Christmas songs, but also make a statement about environmental change. So this one's called It Used to Snow on Christmas. Way back when we were kids, remembering all the things we did, anticipation of the day. Drawn by hearth and the tree, thinking back on family, makes me wonder if we changed. Love remains without compare. Have we lost all we used to share? Used to snow on Christmas. It used to snow on Christmas. Gather together while fire burned. Who knew the earth was gonna warm? Generation without contrite. Everything's bigger when you're young, become smaller and undone, lead the future into the night. Love remains without compare. Have we lost all we used to share? Used to snow on Christmas. 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 Used to snow. It used to snow. It used to snow. Used to snow on Christmas. Used to snow on Christmas. This is one of the oldest songs I've ever done. It's one of the oldest songs I've written. Wrote it about 15, 16 years ago, but put it on the double album called Missed Opportunity, which, I hope you all enjoy. But this tune's called Elixir. It's a bit of a rocker. Try it. We'll try it acoustic. Took a ride up to the mountain. No one around me but the breeze. Letting the wind pass through my fingers. Drop my way down to my knees. I said my heart was feeling lonely and like raising what to be. She said that she was feeling empty, just empty enough for me. Took a ride down to the river. No one around me but the breeze. Coast herself out in the water. Float her way out to the seas. She said her heart was feeling lonely and lacked reason or what to be. Close enough to feeling empty, just empty enough for me. She said her heart was feeling lonely and lacked reason or what to be. She's close enough to feeling empty, just empty enough for me.
So, Brian, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me back.
You're welcome. No. So, this has been obviously for everybody a very crazy 9 months. Tell me what's been going on in your life. I know you teach, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
School went to virtual learning right away.
Okay.
So we were in on a Friday and we started teaching on Monday online.
Really?
Yeah, we worked out through the year.
Wow.
So, now we're back in person completely.
Oh, you are?
Over at our school. Yes, we are.
Oh, really?
Masked up and
Right.
socially distanced
Right,
and everything.
right.
Following the rules and protocol, but we are back in person. We are in school.
Wow. Now, did they have to change? Because I know when I went to school, there were usually at least 25 to 30 children in a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have to change that?
So we're at a private school.
Okay.
And typically the class sizes would be a little bit smaller anyway.
Okay.
But a few of the bigger sections we did have to kind of bring numbers down slightly.
Okay.
But between following the New Jersey state guidelines and here's what kids need to do, teachers need to do, we've been able to make it work.
Make it work. Wow.
We've been pretty successful thus far.
And now I hear on the news a lot of children, they're feeling that the virtual classroom wasn't really working well for them, that they weren't getting the education. How do you feel about that when you hear that?
That we could probably talk for an hour on that subject alone.
Maybe I went into the wormhole there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one because I can say from my experience with the kids in the room,
right.
You know, I teach high school kids, so they're going to give you that like, I'm too cool for school. But, you know, 99% of them are really glad to be there with their friends in spite of the,
pandemic. Okay.
Yeah, the pandemic. With that said, you know, we still stream some stuff online for some kids who need to be home.
Okay.
And we try to make the experience as good as we can for them as well. But it's tough to be in two places at once.
Well, you know, and this is a whole new ball game for everyone concerned.
Yes.
You know, so I would imagine that there's obviously lots of, you know, bumps in the road that you hit. But I have to commend actually all of the teachers and the students for really embracing it as best they can, you know, because now when you were doing a virtual, do I want to ask, are you married? Do you have children? How did, you know, like for somebody that does, that's got to kind of impact their home, their lifestyle at home.
It wasn't too bad.
Okay.
You know, my girlfriend works from home.
Okay.
So she works in finance. So when we were both home at the same time, we were just kind of on different sides of the house. You know, but we made it work.
You made it work.
And she's still working from home and probably will be for a while.
Wow.
I think her industry, along with everything, is going to be impacted by this.
Right.
You know, in regards to I don't want to sound like I'm turning down praise, but the way I look at the situation for teachers in particular was, I think we should, to a degree, commend teachers. But at the same time, the way I looked at it, it's just our turn.
It's your job,
like,
and
healthcare workers have been on it since the beginning.
Right.
But then, you know, we started to appreciate the folks who, you know, packed the grocery shelves and delivered our packages and all this stuff.
Right.
And so, you know, the way I looked at it was, it's just come August, September, it was our turn to step up. Like everybody's doing in their own way. So,
and you know, that's very true, because I think we just take things for granted, you know. But one of the things I want to get on the subject of, so now you've been in the studio a lot, or how is that affecting now your music besides?
So when it's funny, the last time we talked, we said we had all these plans to do some shows and stuff, and the shows, at least at first, stopped.
Right.
You know, and then everybody's schedule kind of went up in the air. It was a bit of a free-for-all. And I really can't complain. I worked from mid-June until just a few days ago from taping. You know, I've worked 80 shows this year.
Wow.
You know, mostly outside, obviously socially distanced and everything.
Right.
But, you know, I really can't complain. I've been working hard.
Wow.
But, yeah, in terms of the studio recording, when everything hit, everybody's home in March. And my buddy John and I, who we make a lot of music together, he's working from home, I'm working from home, our significant others are working from home. And we both were like, all right, dude, we need something to do. So pretty much like, you know, COVID packed. And I was able to go to his house and we made music together because we both weren't seeing anybody else.
Right.
So at first we worked on a Christmas song called It Used to Snow on Christmas.
Which you're going to be singing today, right?
Correct, which I'm going to sing for you guys today.
Great.
So that's out on all the streaming services. And we thought we'd put that out. We actually dug back through the archives of all the stuff from the old bands and things that we had to kind of prepare live releases that we'll put out either 1 or 2 a year for a while. And now actually we're working on another album together,
fantastic.
which is very exciting.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Let's do another tune here off of Missed Opportunity. I wrote this one after Hurricane Maria The lack of action and compassion drove me to write a little something. So this one's called We Are Not Islands. Haven't really slept in days. Mind wanders into cliches. Can't turn on the TV. Home's dropping right into the sea. How is it we have so much? They got so little today. Benevolence is not a crutch. Sharing ain't giving it away. Is anything really fair? There must be someone else who cares, questioning simple truths. Aren't those people American too? How is it we have so much, they got so little today? Compassion is not a crutch. Sharing ain't giving it away. Try to do what we can. We can go out and make a plan. Hope isn't found in silence. We as men don't live as islands. How's it they have so much, they got so little today? Charity is not a crutch. Sharing ain't giving it away. Ain't giving it away. Ain't giving it away. Ain't giving it away. Sharing ain't giving it away.
And are you, you're hitting the studio, or are you still basically going to his house? How is that working when you're trying to produce an album?
So John he built a professional quality recording studio in his basement.
Oh, wow.
When he bought his house. So
okay.
He worked on it with his father-in-law,
right.
and his wife has a great podcast.
Okay.
Which she and her friend work on. So they do the podcasting there.
Right.
And then he makes music for his own group called Rigby.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll work on stuff together, or, any of our various, friend configurations.
Right.
So,
and, it's interesting because I've been watching a lot of documentaries on, different groups going back, and how different recording back in the old days where, everybody was in the same room together and they were basically, actually playing the song,
Mhm.
And nowadays, I gather, it's not so much like that. It's mainly, you got one guy in one room, maybe somebody else in another, and
Yeah.
it's much more separated, and then all the music is edited and blended and done. Am I correct in that analysis?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can do things. You can work either way.
Okay.
For example, the previous record that we made called Missed Opportunity, the first, it's a double album. So the first disc,
Okay.
we did 4 guys live in a room with
Okay.
minimal edits.
Okay.
Because I like that.
Uh-huh.
I like to have the feeling of playing together.
Right.
But then the other half, John and I did in his studio.
Right. Okay.
So, this go around, obviously, you're trying to minimize your contact with people and keeping distance and so on and so
Right.
forth. So for this record that he and I are currently working on, we're opting for the sort of piece at a time approach, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me, that an artist would appreciate playing all together, feeding off of one another. When you're, I guess, kind of doing your own thing with the headset on and just listening to whatever, else and who else was there.
Right.
To me, there would be less excitement. That's kind of like doing when I would do theater,
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing like having the audience there, to do a show and not have an audience. I mean, it's like, well, yeah, you're missing a little of
Yeah.
the excitement that it causes, as there's nothing to me like an audience,
That is a big piece of the puzzle, and in particular with the kind of music I like to make in a live setting. A lot of what we do is sort of improvisational.
Right.
We have a song structure, and we know eventually we want to get from point A to point B.
Right.
Sort of in that like Grateful Dead jam model.
Right.
But sometimes the audience dictates, okay, is this going to be a 2-minute section, or are we going to stretch it and see where it goes?
See where, right.
And to not have that, including like doing some of the live stuff via social media, like it's really unusual to not have that immediate feedback.
Right.
Of like either yay or
yeah.
I don't know what that was.
It's interesting that you're saying that because one of the things I was watching was again a documentary,
Mm-hmm.
And this one particular band, I don't know if I'll name it or not, but when they were doing a live show,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say they'd start a song and they just weren't getting the place going, or getting the excitement in the air, they would change venue. They would change up and just kind of go into a different song to, see where the crowd would dictate them to go,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. And I thought that was very smart, to feel the crowd out, because I would imagine that, you go to certain places, and now you play still your original music plus cover music, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would imagine when you're doing that, it takes a certain amount, again, of feeling the crowd out to see what kind of music that particular crowd wants to hear.
Definitely. If I'll go do like a solo acoustic cover show,
Right.
I don't use a set list, nothing like that. I look around the room and I'm stereotyping the room.
Right. Oh, you are.
I'm
okay.
saying, I'm looking at that table and going, okay, that couple is in their mid-50s. That means they probably are liking this. Or sometimes I'll just ask, I'll just say,
Right.
hey guys, what do you like?
Yeah.
And then they volunteer it, and it helps me out.
And I would imagine it does, you know?
It does. It really does. And, I've had people, I have a pretty wide repertoire of covers in terms of that kind of thing. So it does keep people coming back when they're like, oh, that's the guy who played that song I like.
Right.
Oh, and he's back.
Well, isn't it the truth? I mean, if you're an artist and you get up there only to please yourself, that's not going to work. You have to make those people, as you said, want to come back and know that, oh, yeah, that guy did play that song that I really love, or played several songs that I really loved,
I think there can be moments where you do things to make yourself happy, because at least in that sort of setting, when you say to the people like, hey, I really enjoy this artist and I'm going to play this for you because I really like it.
Right.
I think they appreciate that too.
I think so. Absolutely. Yes.
But there's, in terms of like, if I'm going to go do an original performance, that is primarily more about like, well, I made this thing.
Right.
So
that's a whole, that's a whole
sort
different kind of a different,
apples, oranges kind of deal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go back to, so is your album, is your new, or are you still in the studio working on this new album?
So the one that we would have out in the world right now is called Missed Opportunity.
Okay.
That's the double album, which came out in December of 19.
Okay.
And, again, we thought we were going to let that breathe for a year.
Right.
But, I started writing like crazy.
Wow.
I had while we were sitting in our home, I said, I'm going to try to do a song a week.
Right.
And it really became more like 2 songs a week.
Wow.
And, most of it, some of them you write and then you play, you demo and you go, that's really not very good. But I liked more than I didn't like.
Oh, wow.
So there's actually quite a bit of material that we're going to record. But this go around with the intention of making a more manageable sized album, 9-10 songs, 40 minutes, give or take, as opposed to the epic tome that we throw at people. And then the Christmas single, It Used to Snow on Christmas. That's out there for the people.
Right.
But, there'll be some new things in the works for 2021 that we'll get out in the world.
That's great.
For all you psychology fans, this one's Off the Cove, which came out in 2015. This is called Good Evening, Mr. Maslow. No, Good Morning, Mr. Maslow. Some sort of greeting and then Mr. Maslow. You'll find it. Papa bought the farm and Mama bought herself a broken home. Daddy's little girl's on the wrong side of Jersey City. We used to buy day artists by night in a Journal Square tap room. Stand across the river at the lights that grow so pretty. Sold her heart, ate the dust on the run to the suburbs. And being young and dumb ain't so grand after all. Shoot up, spit out, no cash in a town that almost never sleeps. Could this have really been all her fault? Throw your dreams away. Whoa, you're gonna stay. All forever. What's a dream today? Whoa, just keep warm and stay positive. Smart people acting dumb with young ones doing nothing at all. Complacency could kill a girl right on her feet. What she would give for a country sunset and a western sky, and a rugged face to keep her company. Throw your dreams away. Whoa, you're gonna stay. Ah, forever. What's a goal today? Oh, just keep warm and stay positive. throw your dreams away. Oh, you know you're gonna stay. Oh, forever. What's gold today? Oh, just keep warm and stay positive.
Well, I wanted to show the audience. Now, you're going to have to tell me a little bit here.
Of course.
I always like to introduce them not only to the person that I have now sitting in front of me, but to the person that they were when they were a little younger and how they got to where they are. So would I be right in starting with this one first?
That would be correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, and you are the one sitting on the right.
I'm on the left.
You're on the.
Yeah.
You're on the left.
I know
you're
it's hard
right,
to believe.
my left, or
yeah, I'm on the left of the photo.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Yeah. But yeah, it's my buddy John and I playing at a place called the Grist Mill Cafe in it used to be in Andover, New Jersey.
Okay.
It's something else now, but
Okay.
More than anything, I mean, that's the guy who I'm still working with today. So John, one of my best friends, great guy.
Okay.
But I got to put over that room because they used to have a Friday night open mic where, like, essentially kids could go and play.
Right.
And there's a whole generation of musicians out of Sussex County that are about my age.
Okay.
Somewhere in that, like, 25 to 35, 40 range.
Okay.
Who a lot of them cut their teeth in that room.
In that room, really?
So,
No
yeah,
kidding.
Yeah.
And how old were you here in this photo? Would you?
I was trying to figure that out. I think John would know better because he actually, when he got married, he gave me that photo.
Okay. All right.
In addition to a signed picture of the pro wrestler Mankind, which was awesome. But I think we're either sophomores or juniors in high school.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm going to lean towards sophomores based on the guitars.
Okay.
More than anything else.
Okay.
And a little bit of the haircuts, but primarily the guitars.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So.
And so let me ask you this. When did you first start playing an instrument?
I started playing guitar when I was 14.
Okay.
And then I would have played the gristmill for the first time when I was probably 16.
Okay, wow.
So, yeah, probably something like that. Just trying the open mic thing.
And then when did you start writing?
Probably 15.
Okay, oh, wow.
Because one of the songs, which I think I'll play for you here in a little bit.
Okay.
Actually, a couple of them I wrote very young and then never did anything with them. And then subsequently cleaned them up. There's a tune called Elixir and a tune called One Last Day, which are, I probably wrote them when I was like 15, 16.
Wow, wow, that's interesting. So. Now, did anybody in your family play instruments or?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right. Okay.
No, musical household, we listen to a lot of music, but it was just one of those things where my parents were very kind in that if I said, I think I'd like to play soccer, they'd say, cool, play soccer. And I said, I think I might want to buy a guitar. And they're like, great, buy a guitar,
Now, teaching, do you teach music? Am I right in that, or?
I don't. I'm the head of the social studies department at my school.
Oh,
so
okay.
I teach history.
Okay.
One of the courses I get to talk about the history of popular music.
Okay.
And I'll bring in instruments and I'll show the kids what's what's what with a few things. But I don't actually teach in the music department.
Okay.
So.
And did you ever take lessons, or are you self-taught?
By and large, self-taught. I did work with an instructor for about a year.
Okay.
And then after that year, he went to my parents and said, I can't really teach him anything anymore because he's either got to find a new instructor or he was like, I think we should, he's like, I want to form this project doing acoustic music So he and
Okay.
I had a little acoustic band for a couple of years.
Oh, neat.
Until I got to college.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, we played together for about a year and a half. So.
All right. And then you went to college. Did you study music? Was it a school for?
I went to Clemson University
Okay.
in South Carolina, and I majored in secondary education, social studies. So,
Okay.
according to my degree, the only thing I could do is teach history. But I did minor. I basically minored in music,
Okay.
but more like music history.
Okay.
That's where I started to play some of the like local places like that,
Right,
where
right.
local coffee shops and things, and got a couple of bar gigs, but
Right.
just again, kind of experimenting, playing with different
Playing
people.
with different things. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go to this next photograph.
Absolutely, some sharp dressed men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is. And now I actually, it does say here on here,
Mhm.
the Brian St. John Quartet.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
I am not super creative in terms of naming bands. So currently, Brian St. John Band, that was a set lineup, and our buddy, I should also talk about my buddy Matt Carlson, who is
Okay.
in that crew of guys who some of them have been known each other since kindergarten.
Okay.
But he was the original drummer in that band. He moved to Boston. So John, the guy from the previous photo,
Okay.
was playing bass in the band.
Okay.
He said, I'll move to drums. So our buddy Randy, who's in between John and I in that photo,
Okay.
so that he could play the bass guitar.
Okay. So why don't you do me a favor? Point out who's who here.
Sure. On the far left here, that's Mr. Brian Cornish. He played saxophone in that band.
Okay.
He is a professional saxophonist in Nashville, Tennessee,
Oh,
currently.
no kidding. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, yeah. He's the best musician I know, and I
Okay.
say that with all due respect to my other musician friends. He's the guy.
Wow.
Then it's me in younger form.
In younger form.
Mr. Randy Sabo on
Okay.
the bass guitar.
Okay.
Fantastic bass player. Still plays with John's other group, Rigby.
Okay.
And then on the far end there, that's John Arizari. He played bass at first and then drums, and he would sing.
Okay.
So we made 3 records together as a
wow.
group. I'm really proud of those records.
Wow.
And we had a manager for a bit, did some shows and did some things, and people get jobs and have kids and
Right.
move on and stuff. But proud of the music we made in that group.
Now, are all of these artists here, are they still performing and doing their music, or has some of them?
No, John and Randy, John's and Randy are still playing a group together called Rigby,
Okay.
which you should, internet and everybody there
Yeah.
on television land should check out. Rigby with 2 I's.
Okay.
So RIGBI. They play together in that band. Brian Cornish just put out a live record with a gentleman by the name of Reggie Wooten.
Okay.
Live thing that they did. He's in the jazz world doing some really
Okay.
cool stuff. And he'll still, when he comes home, he'll still do some recording with us.
Mm-hmm.
He also plays drums in Rigby.
Okay.
But yeah, no, everybody from that crew is still doing something.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
And Brian is pursuing it professionally and doing very, very well.
Oh, that's I love to hear those kinds of stories, and I will check out. Now, where does Rigby play out of? What area are they in?
So because Brian lives in Tennessee,
Okay.
and the other guys all live in North Jersey, but schedules of the other guitar player in that group is who actually played. You saw him playing bass at Stone Pony with me.
Okay. Yes.
He's an emergency room physician in New Jersey.
Really?
So, yeah, he's been
Oh my
been
gosh.
a really busy guy,
Wow.
given the state of the world.
I guess so.
Yeah, so they don't do so much like traditional gigs, is that they have a YouTube channel where they'll put out their original music.
Okay.
And they'll do like cover songs.
Oh wow, interesting.
So you can find them there to check them out. But in terms of traditional gigs, one a year, if that.
Okay.
Because of the way their
Because
band
of the
is.
way the, well, I have to tell you, when you were at the Stone Pony, you guys were dynamite. I mean, that was.
Thank you. This is a tune off of the record we did called Remaining Young. This was an exercise in trying to write a pop song in a weird time signature. So feel free to clap along at home. This one's called Bold Love. She said that she was a lonely soldier, fortunes beyond those paved in gold. Offered herself a sample of torture, became a refugee from the cold. Born love like you never felt before. Born love, sits in color from the shore. Born love, laid down at your feet. Born love, where our souls meet. Might seem so complicated, stepping it up and getting it done. The wiser man from the tamer, going back to once it was. Born love like you never felt before. Born love, sense and color from the shore. Born love, laid down at your feet. Born love, where our souls meet. Born love, like you never felt before. Born love, such a color from the shore. Born love, laid down at your feet. Born love, where our souls meet. Born love. Born love, born love, born love.
Now, did you? I'm trying to think when Tina played in Manhattan. That was at the bitter end.
Correct.
Were you? Weren't you there for that one too? Did you?
I was not on that gig.
Okay, you
I
weren't.
was
Okay,
not on
I
that
couldn't
gig.
remember.
Yeah, I had just kind of came on with them as a hired gun, and I had my own schedule, and I still keep
Right.
my own schedule.
Right. Okay.
So where a lot of times with the Whiskey Crossings stuff, if I have something going on, they'll either grab another guitar player or they'll play as a 5 or a 4 or whatever,
Right.
to do the gig.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to explain to the audience. So as I said, Brian has his own solo career going, but when he's not doing that, he is also playing with Whiskey Crossing. and you have seen Whiskey Crossing on my show. That's with Tina Marie and Andrew Gallagher. And Brian plays guitar when you're with them.
Correct.
And I have to say, the Whiskey Crossing has, since I've known them, I love when you're playing, and Rob, and also the new drummer is
Jake's
Jake
a great
is
player.
very good. And then you've got Kevin, is it?
Kenny Crum.
Crum.
Great mandolinist.
I didn't know if he goes as Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable mandolin player.
Yes.
You know, I just love the sound that you guys have created. Now, I know that Rob is doing a lot of writing for Tina and Andrew. Are you doing that as well? Are you? No.
No.
Okay.
They are going after a certain, sort of Nashville proper thing.
Okay.
And I could probably try to write like that.
Right.
But it's not who I am.
Right.
And I don't know if I can write in that. I feel like it would be disingenuous to myself.
To yourself,
to try to say, like, I think I can write like this. Because I did at one point sit down and try to write something in that vein. But, it's just not me.
Right, right.
So,
Which makes sense. Not everybody is going to cross over to doing something like,
Yeah,
like that.
In the same way that if they were saying, okay, let's try to make a 9-minute, rock guitar solo thing,
right?
They may not, that may not fit what they do.
Right.
It's just, it's like an apples and oranges kind of deal.
Right.
But
right.
I can play on that kind of stuff, but
right.
I don't know if I can necessarily write it.
Now, today you're playing acoustic.
Yes.
But your choice is it electric guitar? Do you tend to lean more towards that? Because I've seen you do both. Mm-hmm. You're awesome either way, but
well,
I didn't know which one you prefer.
It's a tough call. I primarily write on acoustic.
Okay.
And most of the gigs I do, I play acoustically.
Okay.
Rocking out on electric guitar is fun.
Yeah.
I would say only if you had to make me choose, I would probably pick electric because I don't do it as much.
Okay.
I bet if I played more electric gigs, I'd probably say, I think I prefer playing acoustically.
Acoustic, right.
But,
right.
actually, I play the mandolin, I play the banjo, I play harmonica, I play a bunch of stuff, and a little piano, some drums, bass, whatever. Like,
right.
I often find that picking the instrument up, and you go like, I forget why I don't play that more.
Right.
Recently, I was playing the banjo in the house, and I was like, why don't I take this thing out of the case more often?
Yeah.
I really enjoy playing that kind of stuff.
I guess, you kind of get in your groove, and sometimes you forget, well, wait a second, I really do enjoy doing this, as well. Well, I want to go back to the fact now that I know you're playing with Whiskey Crossing. How has the whole COVID affected that?
I can really only speak for myself personally. I would have to probably let Tina and Andrew speak on what it's like for the band, because to me, they are the band.
Right. Yes, they are. Yeah.
I kind of look at it as when they're bringing me in, I'm the hired gun guitar player.
Okay.
So what it's meant in terms of booking bands around the area is it's harder.
I would imagine it's got to be.
And it's math and numbers.
Right.
If capacity at a restaurant is 25 or 50%, or if it's outside or whatever.
Right.
Here in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, tri-state area, we're at some level of capacity, and it's with the weather getting colder.
Right.
It's difficult to play outside. So, having a 6-piece band play at your local restaurant bar to be able to do the social distancing and having space. You just can't do it.
You can't do it.
So it's been, I think, I'd probably worked with them a little less in favor of just me saying, look, I'll do my solo and duo things.
Right.
And that way, any of the band stuff that you want to do, you can bring on Rob or Kenny and do it as a 4-piece gig.
Right.
That way, you're adhering to the standard that the bar has, what they can pay.
Right.
So it's, it's just, it stinks, but it's practical.
Right. No, it's true. I know Tina was very frustrated for a while there, because it has. I mean, Whiskey Crossing, is what, number 6 still? I think it's 6 on the charts. Mm-hmm. And is really was getting momentum, in the venues that they were going to be playing. And then it all kind of came to a halt, which is so frustrating. Financially, mentally, it's got to do a number on people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the last few years, I've been trying to look at things as more of a glass half full guy.
Right.
So, we have to deal with the hand that we're dealt. I mean, the last time we talked in terms of filming time was March of 2020.
Right.
So we had a conversation about, here are some of the things that we're going to do. And in terms of the live performance stuff, we didn't get a chance to do it.
Right.
But, you find other ways to get yourself out there or improve yourself.
Right.
So, we're jumping in the studio and we were delving through the old live material for archival releases for the internet.
Right.
They decided to go and record a couple songs.
Right.
Those are things that you can do. Right. And, you just adjust the goals a little bit and you figure it out.
Right. You have to. I think in life in general, you have to pick up the ball, take the hand that's you've been given, and make the best of it, Yeah. So I know that Tina and Andrew had traveled to Nashville to record a couple of songs. Mm-hmm. And Tina was saying it's going to be crazy because they were driving. They didn't want to fly due to the whole COVID thing. And that it was going to be like getting into the studio, doing like a crash course there, and then hopping back in the vehicle and coming back, And but at the same time, how exciting! And I have to give her many praises because she is one that will keep going. She is not going to let it get her down. She's just going to take it and run and do what she's got to do. And so many other people would maybe go into a slump.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for them, but if you know them, I think they could tell you some stories about some struggles they've had. Right. And if you just can't let that stuff get you down. If you want to be a defeatist, right? It's very easy to do that. Right. Why? To me, it's like, why do something easy? Right. So if you're gonna, especially if you want to do what we do, if you want to do the music thing, right? So in that sense, I'm glad that they took the lemons and made some lemonade, and probably, given the name of the group, poured a little booze in it.
I'm so glad that actually all of my friends that I have talked to, musician friends, really have taken the lemons and made lemonade out of it. I haven't spoken with one person yet that just kind of let it diffuse what their plans were and what they did, but yet keeping safe, socially safe, and everything else. So let's just get back to before we wrap up here. So when can we expect your next album?
I'm hoping in the summer.
Okay.
I'm hoping. I mean,
Okay.
we're, I would say, more than halfway done.
Okay.
I don't want to rush it necessarily, but
Right.
I feel confident enough that it'll be out there in the summertime.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And if people wanted to get in touch with you or look you up, and what sites do they go to? What do they?
Absolutely. The easiest place to go is facebook.com/Brian St. John Music.
Okay.
STJOHN Music. And if you see a duck, if you see a cartoon duck or ducks, you are in the right place.
You're in the right. I know. I
Yeah.
love that. What brought that on? What's the duck significant?
Yeah. So I work. She doesn't actually play music with us, but I keep telling her she's basically a member of the band at this point.
Okay.
The graphic designer who I am fortunate enough to work with is a colleague of mine at school.
Okay.
Her name's Catherine Kiff Voza.
Okay.
Spectacular artist. She's a genius. And I just went to her and said, hey, can we do some album art? And she's like, love it. What do you want to do? And I said, the album's called Remaining Young.
Okay.
And I was thinking about like an old looking toy.
Oh.
And so we just Googled old pull toys.
Oh.
And she was like, yeah, all right, cool. And she's like, a duck? I'm like, yeah, duck, whatever. And a couple days later, there was we call it boy duck.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of took on a life of its own.
Okay.
And then we've added, for Missed Opportunity, Girl Duck. And then for It Used to Snow on Christmas, they're both there with a Charlie Brown tree. And,
neat.
and we're gonna keep adding to the family.
To the family,
a little bit.
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, and actually part of it was practical.
Okay.
In that being a teacher, I didn't necessarily want my face to be the key part of the branding.
Okay.
I prefer to let the mystery of the artwork.
Right.
And I just like artwork.
Yeah.
But I prefer to let the mystery go, like, what is that about?
Okay.
And then generally people ask questions.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great.
I've sold a few T-shirts that way.
Have you? Okay, yeah.
So.
That's great. I often wondered, and I said, I got to ask him when I get him on, because, well, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Are you or have you talked with Tina and Andrew? Do you guys have any expectations as to maybe playing some gigs already in the summer, or do you have anything lined up there?
I think that a lot of that right now is on the world, right? And vaccine distribution.
Okay.
In terms of local things, I'm sure she'll have some stuff coming soon. But when you get towards these ticketed venues, it requires to have a lot of people.
A lot of people, right?
A lot of people in close proximity. So not only is it vaccine distribution, but it's going to be on the venues. Some of them are saying they may want you to show proof that you've gotten it.
Right.
So to be able to say
it is kind of too early because unfortunately we don't really know.
Yeah.
Well, please keep me informed, keep me in the loop.
Of course.
Love to come out and see you guys again. You really should try to look him up, Brian St. John, or Whiskey Crossing, because as I said, he does both. And live shows are awesome. So again, thank you so much, and be safe, be well. Thank you, audience. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you soon.
Donna's Happy Hour is filmed on location at the Blue Arrow Farm.
It's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour. Come on, get happy now, it's Donna's happy hour. Come on, get happy now, it's Donna's happy hour. Come on, get happy now, it's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour.